All right.
Well, yes, the Phillies did win against the St. Louis Cardinals, but that certainly was overshadowed by a player facing some serious charges that were announced before the game.
Like right here on the front of the paper, deeply disturbing. I think anybody would describe it as that. He's 27 years old. He's our outfielder, pulled from the lineup immediately and placed on what they call administrative leave over accusations of this assault against a 20-year-old woman inside of that casino hotel.
Police say the domestic disturbance happened Monday night inside of a hotel room at the Golden Nugget in Atlantic City. The arrest report describes the woman as having visible signs of injury to her arms and neck. So the Phillies front office had to really address this because a lot of people wanted to know what will happen next to Odubel Herrera.
We need to demonstrate that it's unacceptable and that we support any initiative out there that is looking to prevent domestic violence. And you address it head on.
We're going to be transparent about this. We're not going to hide the ball. There's no secrets. Whatever we learn, we'll share it, and we'll make. The league will help us to make whatever decision we're going to make.
So we learned a couple of things of what the Phillies did yesterday. Gabe Kapler had an emergency meeting where he addressed domestic violence with the rest of the team. And then now we also know that Herrera is on leave from the league for 7 days because the Phillies said they reported it immediately to the league. But that can be extended. He is due back in court on June 17th to answer charges. But a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen in the meantime.
Brian McMonigal is here, attorney at law, and Eytan Shander is here to talk about the sports side of this. Let's start with the legal side first. What are the next steps? Before the Phillies can do anything or Major League Baseball can do anything, they got to get the facts.
Yeah, there'll be an investigation done, and prosecutors are going to have to decide quickly what the charges are going to be. What's the nature of the injuries? A lot of these cases are victim-driven. We saw it with Ray Rice. Does the victim want the case to proceed in the criminal justice system? Do they offer a diversionary program? Is this the first time it happened? Has it happened before? But start with the alleged victim. Let's see what she wants to do. Prosecutors will evaluate that, evaluate the charges, and decide whether to bring it before a grand jury or perhaps a diversionary program.
Because it's interesting, from what we know so far, we know that she refused to get hospital treatment, and we know that there were marks to her neck and also on her arms. So can you explain then why some people might try to understand, why is it just a simple assault? You'd think if he had his hands around her neck.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it depends on the nature of the injuries. If there's an attempt to cause serious bodily injury, like a strangulation, like you've described, that certainly could be an aggravated assault. I don't know what the allegations were. What did she say happened? How did it happen? And that'll dictate what the charges are. And then they'll decide how to proceed. Is it a case that they'll put in the trial track? Is it a case that they'll negotiate? It starts with her.
If she decides, hey, because there are reports that maybe they are in a relationship, I don't want to move forward with this, can it still go forward even without her saying, I want to press charges?
No, it's victim-driven. They would need her to testify. We saw it with Ray Rice. I mean, he got a diversionary program in a case where the whole world saw the assault. So she'll decide what track it takes. Prosecutors obviously will bring her in. They'll give her a variety of options, and then the case will proceed.
It was interesting. It reminded us of how much that our manager, Gabe Kapler, is into this subject. He has a foundation. And he says the Gabe Kapler Foundation is one of the most unforgettable foundations against human abuse and social rights, especially violence against women. That's his boss.
Yeah, he and his wife have set that up, and it's something that he's lived by. And there are some allegations surfacing from 2015 about what he may have done to kind of hide or shield a player in the Angels organization from domestic violence allegations. So Gabe Kapler now, more than ever, needs to stand out and be like Matt Klentak did and be as vocal as possible to put action behind just words. We hear this a lot from NFL teams, from baseball teams, from hockey teams. We're 100% against domestic violence. We standing all the right things, and then the guys on the field or on the ice or on the court a week or two later. There is precedent here in Major League Baseball. Roberto Osuna was suspended 70 games for a domestic violence allegation. He wasn't found guilty until after, or even pled anything until after. So baseball can come out and suspend you 70 games.
Before it even decided in the courtroom.
Correct. This is not the NFL. This is not Roger Goodell and the collective bargaining agreement there. We have already multiple examples where players have been suspended before a charge is even filed.
Or
before they've pled, pardon me, before they've pled.
So we know then with the 7 days, At what point do they say we need to extend, or we're going to keep it at 7 days? Or they usually
They're
make their
gonna
decision.
extend.
within-
Yes, it will be before 7 days. Here's the thing. If there is any truth or merit to the report that came
gone.
out, he has to be released.
Yeah.
Gone.
He'll be gone.
And the beauty of it, if you want to use that term, is that the Phillies have an out. They have an option, a club option over the next 2 years after this year. We see it far too often in my world, right? Where somebody's really, really good and they do something heinous and it just gets overlooked, swept under the rug because they're really good. This is kind of the opposite. And it's not going to play into Odubel's favor here because he's been struggling and the Phillies are going to get rid of him.
And he's down in the lineup where last year he was higher up in the lineup. So what happens June 17th? That's when he goes to in front of a judge?
Maybe.
Maybe.
If the case proceeds to grand jury, it'll take a lot longer than that, and that decision is going to have to be made. If they're going to resolve it quickly, it could be put into a diversionary program, or they could proceed on that date. My guess is it gets postponed.
But it's all relying now on this woman, this 20-year-old woman.
They'll bring her in and they'll say, how do you want us to proceed? Do you want the criminal justice system to punish this? And if she wants that, she's going to get it.
And I think the difference in the NFL is that if that were the case and she said no, the NFL would back off and say, hey, we let the legal system play it out. Baseball has already said in their CBA, it doesn't matter.
They don't play.
We don't play around with that stuff. If she says no and charges are dropped, we're still going to knock you for 70 games.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Drama, drama, drama on the diamond. The Phillies and the Braves currently fighting for the #1 spot in the National League. This series is giving fans a real run for their money. Plus, it's game day for the women's national team. They play today at noon against Chile. I like that. Today at noon against Chile. Eytan Shander from 97.3 ESPN here to break it all down. I know that you're a puppy father, but you can't come in late, okay?
Late?
This guy's like, oh, I thought I was supposed to be here at 8:30.
Wait a second.
Because it's Father's Day.
You didn't push anything back for me, right? Okay, so technically I'm not late.
You're early?
I'm on time.
Okay.
There's a difference.
We'll take that.
There's three
We'll
three
take
levels
that.
of it, right?
Also on time, that win
blowing
from
my
the
spot
Braves.
up
I mean, not
before
from
we
the
even
Braves.
started?
I
You
can't
blowing
cheer.
my spot up?
You
Is
don't
that-
have to.
Okay, I see how it is here.
We broke a Braves winning streak.
Yes, we did. I couldn't believe it.
I
but
like that.
Amazing. This Braves team is really good. They're the hottest team in baseball. They've been the hottest team in baseball in 2 weeks, but oh well. Oh well.
They're not
Just-
called Hot Atlanta for nothing,
No,
right?
listen, I know you have a little connection down there, Lauren, all right? But today it's about the Phillies.
I hear you.
And it was a huge rally in the ninth, and it's definitely something you'd like to see is fight.
Right here.
Fight with the Phillies.
Ow! No?
No, he got him. He got him. He got him. They were throwing at Kingery's head. How about that?
I know. Rough game, right?
You can tell that the Braves don't like the Phillies.
Right.
You can tell, right? You can tell that they're annoyed by them.
Right.
And it's not something like a pestering little gnat that's kind of buzzing on your ear on a nice evening in the summer.
The animosity is
It's,
real.
it's like real,
It's
yeah.
palpable.
There's like a wasp's nest or a bee's nest that they're trying to go after. They don't like the Phillies, but I love the fact that the Phillies were able to put on that fight in the ninth inning on a road game against the best team or hottest team in baseball. It was a major statement. They just have to keep it going today.
Okay.
I'm
They
not-
play today at 1:20.
Cole Irvin looks like he's getting a start. Young kid who came up last time, he got hit around.
Yeah.
It was not a good sight. So let's just hope that momentum in the bats. They don't do anything consistently, the Phillies, but when they do play well, they're really good.
Okay,
You
we'll
just
take
have to
that.
get something out of the offense today.
Okay, so that's over. Phillies, Jimmy Butler.
I know everybody's upset
What's
now,
gonna
nervous
happen?
now.
I know.
There was this big trade that happened with Anthony Davis going to the Lakers.
Yes.
And we have to look at dominoes. Jimmy Butler is like the third or fourth domino. You remember as a kid you set up all those dominoes?
Yep.
So you have to let the first, second, almost the third domino fall. We need to see what happens with Kyrie Irving first. We need to see what happens with a guy even like Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
Jimmy Butler is kind of like that, and Kemba Walker is another name to keep in mind.
Okay.
The Lakers, it's reported, and this is good news for us, okay? It's reported the Lakers want Kemba Walker more than anybody else.
Oh.
So one team scratch it off the list for Jimmy Butler.
Right.
You just need to keep scratching off lists of teams for Jimmy Butler. As of now, the only real team I could see him going to outside of the Lakers would be the Nets or the Clippers. And I think the Sixers have the best option between those two. The only team I was really worried about was the Lakers.
Right.
But I think that trade with Anthony Davis and now them going after Kemba Walker really makes things easier for the Sixers to re-sign Jimmy. But real quick, he's going to have to opt out of the deal in order to sign a bigger contract with the Sixers. So if he hits free, LeBron did this all the time.
Right.
When he hits free agency, don't panic. Don't panic. It's just going to be them working it out.
Working on a deal.
Yeah, Jimmy has to come back.
So this goes in our file folder of to be continued.
TBC?
Okay. World Cup today.
I know.
Continues.
I hope they beat them by 50.
So there's a big watch party down in South Philly. You can go to Chickies and Pete's and the Zach Ertz Family
Wow.
Foundation.
Oh,
They're
that's
cheer on
awesome.
Julie.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I know. There's so many great players on this team. So many great women
I
to
know.
cheer.
To
That's
cheer
why
on.
I was so upset that it became such a big deal.
Oh my gosh, the celebration the other day when they won.
I don't
15-0.
care who I'm rooting for. If it's my country, if it's the Eagles, if it's some Pop Warner team that
Right.
my nephew plays on, run up the score as much as humanly possible. It's
Correct.
not like Thailand was a sub. You know, like somebody broke their ankle and then somebody grabbed the mic and said, "Hey, can anybody play soccer out here?" And Thailand said, "Yeah, I can do it. I can do it."
Right.
They qualified for that thing.
They did.
I
And then
hope-
it was the biggest blowout in the tournament's
That's
history.
right. Now
and then
Chile's going to be a little better
Yeah.
than Chile. Is going to be a little better than Thailand, but I still think the U.S. heavy favorites throughout this thing. They've got the talent, and I think they're motivated. You know, when you go out and you do something really well, and someone criticizes you for doing something really well,
Yeah.
you think, okay, I can't wait to go out there and do it again and do
Right.
it even better.
Do it even better.
That's the women today.
Motivation.
Can't wait.
Noon. We'll see you guys at noon, ladies. We'll be cheering you on. Happy Father's Day. I know you're a puppy parent. If you're stuck inside this Father's Day and you have yet to get a gift for your father, you are in luck. We are making the perfect DIY gift for Dad. You want to stick around for this one. The Phillies started the month in first place, right? On top of the Braves by 2 games in the NL East. And then just 3 weeks later, after another loss to the Marlins, they fall in several games behind the Braves and are dangerously close to dropping into 3rd place behind the Nationals. Outside of the team action on the diamond, a viral moment you just saw there from the team's manager, Gabe Kapler, booted from yesterday's game against the Marlins. It was the first time something like that has happened to Kapler. Whew, he was mad. Eytan Shander from 97.3 ESPN here to break it all down. Okay, so he has this moment on the field.
Right.
But this is what impresses me even more. He gets a standing ovation from the Phillies fans when he walks off the field afterwards.
Well, you have to cheer for something, right? There's not much you can cheer for right now if you're a Phillies fan, especially when you're going down to that ballpark. And Gabe finally gave fans a show. The reality, and you let it where we begin, is the start of this month to where we are now. This is beyond disappointing.
Yeah.
This is enraging. If you're a Phillies fan, last year we saw a team that really wasn't that good, Lauren, play over their head. And then all of a sudden, towards the end of the year, things just kind of evened themselves out. They went out, they spent money. They got the best catcher in baseball, JT Realmuto. They got Bryce Harper, $330 million.
So he's just mad. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he's mad. And I think it got to the point where it was just, you know, the culminating point of just, all right, cherry on the top, I'm done. I need to explode. But it's too little too late, I think. When you've lost 6 straight, 15 of 21, you lose 2 straight to the National League's worst team in Miami.
Yeah.
They have this phrase in football, a get-right game, where if you lose a couple of games, you look at the team's really bad team in the standings, you think, all right, this is where we get right. This is where we get back on track. The Marlins are a get-right series. If you can't win, they should have swept the Marlins.
If you can't get it right in this series, you got it. I know, that's the emoji, right? I don't know. So if you weren't watching the game yesterday, he was upset because it was a strikeout call
Correct.
when Scott Kingery got hit.
Yes.
He thought it shouldn't. So he got really enraged, outraged.
Yeah, and I'll say this. It's great to see that. I know it's the first time Gabe has done this year. It's the first time ever in his career he got ejected. That's not who Gabe Kapler is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, honestly, and I hate to nitpick this, but if this happened a week ago,
Yeah.
I think the team would respond. My fear, as much as I love to see Gabe Kapler show that emotion, Lauren, my fear is that the team is already down this kind of spiral.
Yeah.
And something like that is almost like putting a Band-Aid on a gushing wound.
Well, let's hear from him because he did respond to
Okay.
his behavior after the loss to the Marlins. Here's what he said.
We're not playing good baseball, period. There's not a single part of our game that is where it needs to be. It's unacceptable, and we're going to make it better.
Okay, so you've already said that. We're not playing good baseball.
Nope.
One of the big issues is like the players, people now saying they're just not hustling.
Right.
And that's an issue. You're an athlete. You're getting paid big money for that. You have no hustle?
And in Philadelphia, of all places,
Yeah.
you start to come up a little short on a base path, or you start to look like you're lagging it out there on the field or the ice, wherever it is. just not a good,
It's not a good look.
thing, right?
So yesterday, Hernandez, it was
Cesar
getting out,
Hernandez,
yeah,
yeah.
trying to get out of the batter's box, not knowing if it was a foul ball, what was happening. He was just slow to move.
It's basic stuff. We saw that with Gene Segura, now with Cesar Hernandez. We've seen this before where guys just aren't hustling.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a thing like basic baseball. It's
Yeah.
just instinct.
Right.
Like you should have that in you. And I think that what happens when you're not doing basic instinct stuff, not just baseball stuff, but instinct stuff,
Yeah.
your head's not there.
Right.
You're just not in it. And I think you can look at this team has been on such a slide that I don't think that they're present. I don't think that the team is present in the moment enough in these games, and that's evident by losing 2 straight to the Marlins.
Well, yesterday, Bryce was present, right? But then
Well-
he got overly aggressive.
Two times this week.
Right.
So we've now learned, the basic fan has now learned a term, over hustle.
Yeah.
There is a term, this is a real thing where you can over hustle, and Bryce Harper has done that. Now, he got nailed on the base paths a couple times, but it's good to see the bat, it's good to see the long shot by him.
Yeah.
The problem that we've seen with Harper and others when they press on the base path is that it's almost like trying to overcompensate somebody not playing enough. I'll never knock the offense. It's great to get you need offense, you need runs on this inconsistent team, but again, Harper has been a lot of the issue, as way more than he's been.
A help?
Yes, that's a great term.
Yikes.
I was going to say the antidote for this poison of the baseball team that we're watching.
And they
Please.
play again today?
Yes, they're going to lose. No. I think they win. They salvage the series. Let's cross our fingers.
All right.
Any other? Do you have a rabbit's foot in there or something?
Oh, no, we need something, right? We can rub your ball.
There you go.
All right, now these ladies just won't quit. The U.S. faced its toughest test
Yes.
of the Women's World Cup Thursday, dominated in a 2-0 win over Sweden. They face Spain tomorrow. Who's going to win that one?
USA.
Okay.
And I think when you look at the way in which they've been playing, they don't give a goal up. They win their group pretty handedly. Sweden, that was a game. I know that they both had advanced, but that was an avenge game where Sweden knocked them out of the Olympics in 2016. The U.S. right now, you want to talk about the polar opposite of a team compared to the Phillies? It's the U.S. women's national team. They're going to win this whole thing. And I don't think that they may not give up a goal in the next 2 games at this point. They've been
love
playing
it.
so well. They dominate more so than we've seen. Really, you have to go back to like the 92 Dream Team that we had in the NBA.
I love, last week I was at my desk watching, and Julie just, in that ball.
Isn't it great
I
to see
know.
that? Yeah. The
I loved
local
it.
connection with Julie
I
Ertz.
know,
But
and then you look at Zach's page, and they're like kissing, and you're like, their love story's so sweet.
Mr. Julie Ertz.
I love it. That's who he is, and he owns it.
That's right.
He loves it.
That's right.
All right, one Delaware County man is on it. Thank you. Is on a spiritual journey. How at 80 years old he's proving every step counts, and age ain't nothing but a number.
Which we played the Mets, the stinking Mets are in town for 4 games. Now think back, May 29th, the Phillies, 10 games over 500. We were cooking, cruising, however you want to call it. Well, you know what today? We're 1 game over 500. Oh, what a free fall. The Phillies' free fall continues. The team is now 6.5 games out of first place after being swept at home by the Fish, one of the worst teams in baseball, the Miami Marlins. Is that what we call them now? Didn't they used to be the Florida Marlins?
They did.
Now
They
the
did.
Miami Marlins. Eytan's here. Good to see you, man.
Likewise, great to see you both.
All right, we put up a poll this morning.
Polls are great. Great barometer.
How do you fix the Phillies? And look at it now. What I don't want is to fire Gabe, but that went right to the top. Maybe not surprising.
Now,
And
can I
then-
just ask you a question? Who's voting for dig deep? Who has seen this team over the last 2 weeks and thinks that digging deep is going? Don't tell me you voted dig deep,
No, I'm
Alex.
saying I think those are the Gabe believers because that's what he's been saying. So that
Hey, I don't know what they're believing out there, but it's not
Bryce
the truth.
is saying it.
But Bryce is laughing at the ideas now being put out by the manager following the latest suggestion, which is he's going to bring out a curveball machine. Do you remember when Nelson Aguilar couldn't catch the football and we had the jugs machine?
That's right.
Now we have the curveball, the infamous
But Nelson
curveball.
Aguilar improved, and now he was doing really well after that.
Well, it took a year. It didn't take the
Well,
jugs
yes.
machine. It took him working on it. But that's the point.
needed
Is that
time.
we don't know at this point. There are so many different factors. Injuries. You lose Andrew McCutcheon. That was a huge thing.
was
Odubel
huge.
Herrera is gone as well. But it's not all guys who have been hurt. This team has been poorly constructed by the GM, Matt Klentak. And you can't keep having Mr. Nice Guy show up every single time when you get your hat handed to you.
Okay.
That's Mr. Gabe Kapler.
Let's put you in charge. How would you what did he do wrong about constructing the team?
They don't have enough depth in the pitching areas, both the starting rotation and the bullpen. It should have been addressed earlier on. I know there were a couple of names, Craig Kimbrell, Dallas Keuchel, those big names. The three of us talked about them.
Why didn't we go after them? They saving money?
Well, it's not only saving money. That's like two. One is because they thought, based on the team that they assembled, that they didn't need those guys. That they didn't, right, because they were two big names and they might have cost too much. That they could address it a little bit later. Well, it's too late. It's too late. Listen, you want to fire Gabe Kapler, it's not going to change anything this year. He's most likely going to be done at the end of the year. But I tell you who's on the hot seat right now is you give Matt Klentak, the general manager, one more offseason. He signed Bryce Harper to $330 million. He's barely showing up when he's playing okay for the most part. Well, few and far in between.
Hoskins not playing well.
No, and Hoskins has been batting out of the order in the lineup. It's unfair to him. You've got some of these guys dogging it. You've got Bryce Harper making the first out at third base. It seems like nobody has an idea of what's going on mentally.
What was it yesterday? 8 straight innings in a row, the first person up got out?
Yes.
Was out.
Yeah, and it's unheard of. It's like we're watching a Little League team. It's not even a travel team. I would take like a 16-year-old travel team at this point. We're watching Babe Ruth baseball.
Oh, come on.
Mike, I'm serious. It's in between T-ball, where everybody gets an at-bat, and Babe Ruth baseball at this point.
Good Lord.
My gosh.
Seriously, and firing the manager is not going to do anything right now.
What's the solution for you?
Yeah, so what do we do?
The solution is you ride it out, and if you have tickets over the next couple of weeks, you hope that you can get something on the resale market.
So in other words, you're going
It's
back.
done. Cooked. The season is over. Where's the gavel? Bang. Law and order. Yes. You can't lose the way in which they have. The team is just not that good.
But I was talking with Mike earlier. Then why were we in first place for a while? Was that just a fluke?
Do you remember what happened last year?
Beginner's luck?
Well, no, it's not necessarily beginner's luck. But do you remember what happened last year? The team was not that good. They were playing over their head.
Right.
They've improved. And with Andrew McCutchen, Gene Segura at the top of the lineup, it looked like there was some stability. The problem is it was a team that was put together with Elmer's glue. You needed that Gorilla Glue. You need the stuff where you have to surgically remove your index finger and your thumb. You can't just do it with stuff that kids get in arts and crafts class. It's not going to work.
Mucilage is what you're looking for.
Rubber cement is not
Rubber
the answer
cement.
either. No. You need, was that Gorilla Glue? I thought it was.
I think you almost went with dig deep.
No, never. Never. Digging deep is the last thing you want to do right now. My goodness.
All right, get
Shame
out.
on anybody who voted for that.
All right. Eytan, always good to hear from you.
I'll buy your tickets, by the way, at
Oh, you
Shander
will?
Show.
Look, listen, there's always good food. You know, they got Shake Shack in there, hot dogs.
Oh, I love Shake Shack.
Yes.
All right, let's go to the game and eat.
Oh, the percentage has gone up, apparently,
Look at that,
Eytan,
see?
since you've been talking about the Dig Deep folks.
That's the Shander effect.
They're now all coming together.
Exactly right.
One other thing,
24%.
I don't even know what that means. How can you get somebody to try harder?
You can.
You can.
And being nice to that person is not going to work. Hey, Mike, you know, you messed that up, but I'd really like it if you tried harder. No, Mike, you messed that up. Make sure that next time you don't bring Alex down too. The cast has to be tighter. You have to get in somebody's face and do it.
Okay.
You can't just be nice.
You weren't nice today.
I work better if you're just nice to me.
Yeah, right. I'm sure.
Eytan, thank you.
My pleasure.
Hey, Jen's in Atlantic County at a star-studded golf tournament. Maybe Jaws has some answers.